realise I am talking about calming things and my room looks like a very calming place and I look like Jesus a little bit and my hair looks a bit like Jesus' hair, so I hope this adds to the calmingness of your life. Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a very chatty video about surviving college or university when you have anxiety. A lot of these tips can also be used for people with no mental health conditions or other mental health conditions. They're just anxiety friendly tips. Starting college and university is so worrying and nerve-wracking for everyone, so to have anxiety on top of that is really hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard. I'll give you a brief outline of my experience of college. I went last year, I started I think, and it was amazing, and all the people in my class were so lovely. Most of my lecturers were really nice and the building was amazing and I really enjoyed the actual course. It was everything I wanted to learn and it was a really good experience. But after 3 or 4 months I had to leave because I got really badly anxious, and to the point where I couldn't really leave the house, and it was very stressful, and the classroom situation can be really stressful. Not knowing the building, all that kind of stuff can be really stressful. I've looked online for all these kinds of videos and I couldn't really find one, so I thought I'd do a video to help people that have anxiety and that are starting a new chapter in their life and it can be really hard. So here are some tips to help you. The first tip I'm going to give you is about travel. This is a stressful tip. Travel is hard. Whether you're going somewhere or not, travel is really difficult for most people with anxiety, and so to really think about the way you're going to travel, to really think about what you're going to do when you're travelling is important. So a lot of people, I think, probably get the bus or the train to where they're going to go. This can be really hard because once you're on the bus you can't get off, and when you're on the bus you're probably thinking about what you're about to do and how difficult it is. So my first tip is to make sure you have enough time to look at all the bus times which you normally do, get the one that's earlier than you usually would, make sure you're there early or on time. This will save so much worrying because a lot of us with anxiety, our worst nightmare would be walking to a room full of people that are all staring at you and because you're late. So that's definitely a very serious tip that you should try and do. Having said that, my next tip is to not worry if you are late, because a lot of the time in college, which is something I learned, people are late and the teachers or lecturers really don't mind at all. It's really a place where you're the person that's learning and they know that. They know you're the person that's learning, you're the person with the grades, so they're not really bothered whether you turn up or not. They're not really bothered if you're late or not. They're just there to help. So don't worry if you happen to be late. If you're on the bus and you're thinking, I'm definitely going to be late, don't worry. Promise me you will not worry, because there's really nothing to worry about. My last travel tip is to use your time on your bus or your train to relax. This might be the only part of your day before college that you get to have a relax, so make sure you use it. This can be listening to your favourite music, listening to calming music, reading books that you like, calm books, or by downloading a meditation app, which is a lot of people have found very useful. There's apps called Calm, there's loads and loads of different apps. If you just type into the App Store calming meditation techniques or anything like that, and they're really great for calming you down. So that's definitely a good tip. Also, if you don't fancy listening to music or anything on the bus, people watching and looking out the windows can also be very therapeutic and very relaxing. And also thinking about your day, thinking about the day that's going to come, thinking about what could go right instead of what could go wrong is a really important thing to do. My next tip is about leading up to the first day, and I think this comes in 2 sections. I think this comes in the weeks before, or maybe even the months before if you want to be super organised, and the day before. So for the lead up in the coming weeks and stuff like that, there's lots of things you need to think about. First thing is to buy everything you need. This is a very helpful tip because you really should buy everything that you need. But if you make sure a couple of weeks before you've got everything, there's a whole big massive worry off your list and out of the door, and make sure that you buy everything you need. Pens, pencils, sharpeners, notebooks, everything you could possibly need. so that when you're in that classroom you don't need to ask other people, which can be quite worrying sometimes for some people. Asking other people for things can be quite stressful, so make sure you've got everything so you don't need to have to worry about that. If you're going to be buying yourself all these stationery and lovely things, you might as well buy yourself some really nice floral, cute, nice little ones, so that when you take them out it's a little bit more positive and a little bit of flash of positivity and happiness into your daily life. Speaking of being positive and happy and fluttering, think of the best possible outcome. So for most of the day, most of the weeks leading up, I can imagine you will be feeling shit. You'll be like, no, this can't be happening. I can't do this. I'm going to be sick. I'm going to faint when I get there. I'm going to have a panic attack. Everyone's going to think I'm weird. You're going to have all those thoughts, and really, that's the truth. So every time your mind is wandering off in the negative, I can't do this situation, bring it back to the I can do this situation. Don't be like, oh no, I'm thinking about that again. Just gently bring your mind back to what you should be thinking about, which is, it's probably going to go really well. I'm probably going to meet lots of really nice people. If I don't, it doesn't matter. The lectures are probably going to be really nice. If they're not, it doesn't matter. I'm going to try my best and do the best I can, and that is literally all I can do. You worrying about the first date isn't going to make it any easier, it's only going to make it harder. So if you try your best, I know I'm preaching to the congregation of that is not how it works. I would love to be able to not worry about these things, but it's not possible. But honestly, if you really try to move your brain back into the I can do this, I know I physically can do this, I can walk into that classroom and sit there for 2 hours or however long it's going to be. Remember, it's only temporary. Your feelings of anxiety, your feelings of I can't do this, they're only temporary. By the end of that year, only 1 year, you will have done a whole year. I know that's a really obvious statement, but you will have done a whole year of college, university, and you'll be probably a quarter of the way there. Just try your best to be positive about it, and it'll make the first day so much easier. My next tip is to do a trial run, which can really help a lot of people. My boyfriend's actually doing a trial run to his university, and he doesn't even have anxiety. It's just to get your head around it, get your head around the buses and the schedules and all that kind of stuff can really help. Because I know that buses and trains might be the most stressful part of your day for some of you, trial runs are absolutely an amazing idea. So get your bus timetable, leave a bit earlier. Remember, on your trial run you don't actually have to be anywhere, so if you are late, it really doesn't matter. It'll give you a rough idea of when you should leave your house. Also, if you can ask your university or ask your college, or you can just try and go in. You can try and have a little wander around, which I think a lot of open days are used for, but they're really beneficial because you'll get to walk around and you'll get to know, okay, that's where the toilet is and that's where the canteen is, so if I'm ever hungry or need the toilet, that's where I can go. And I think knowing what a place looks like can really help me with my anxiety. I often, when I'm going somewhere I don't know, I often will Google Maps it and just see what it looks like from the outside, just because I think it helps a little bit. My next tip is about food, and this is quite a big tip, I'd say, but it's also a tip that if you don't suffer with anxiety you might not really think it's a big deal, but it is a very big deal. There's lots to think about when it comes to food, and lots you need to think about, I think. Comfort eating might be a thing that you do to help yourself feel more comfortable, obviously. I'm going to say in your first 2 weeks, let yourself do that. On the other hand, I'm one of those people that I will eat when I get home all day or whatever, but on my way to college, before college, and at college, I don't really want to eat much. And let yourself do that. Let yourself eat however much or however little you want. Let yourself exercise as much as little as you want. Your only goal should be to get through college the first 2 weeks. Don't set yourself up to do any more goals than that. That should really be your main goal. Don't worry about anything else, really. My next tip is to think about every single detail of the day. Think about what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, where the toilets could be, who to ask if you need the toilet, blah blah blah. All these tiny little things you need to think about. Not only do you need to think about them though, you need to think of the solutions for them. So if you're a person that's worried about the toilet, if you're a person that worries, oh my god, what if I need the toilet and then I can't find it and then blah 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 blah, think about the solution. The solution could be to ask your teacher. The solution could be to walk around until you find one. Your solution could be to go to college before and suss out where the toilets are. There's 1,000,001 different solutions to all your little problems that could really help you on the actual day of college when you think, oh no, what about the toilet? Oh yeah, I remember, I'm going to ask the teacher. What about the canteen? Oh yeah, I'm going to just not eat if I'm not hungry and eat if I am hungry. All your little details of the day are sorted and you can just feel relaxed. My next tip is about telling people. This is going to be completely different for everybody and it doesn't matter which way you decide to go. You can decide to tell everyone in your class and tell everybody in the college. You can decide to tell absolutely no one. Either way, it really doesn't matter. I decided when I went to college that I was going to tell people. I told the people, some of the people in my class, and I told the lecturers and the actual college admin kind of place, and that made me feel a lot more safe. It made me feel like if I leave the classroom they're going to know it's not because of them, it's because of me, it's because I just need to have a little break. Also telling my friends, it meant that at lunchtime if I walked away and I was really stressed, they didn't have to worry, it was nothing they did. Also a lot of people might not know about anxiety, they might not know the ins and outs and all the intricate little things that happens with anxiety. So letting people know from the outset that that's what it is can also teach them to not be worried. Because a lot of people I think would be like, oh, she's really not looking well and she blah 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 blah. Just to let them know I have anxiety, I have panic attacks, and to just don't worry about me. Just don't worry. I'm absolutely fine. I'm just gonna sit here and have a little bit of panic. Also, if you tell the admin at your college, sometimes they can have good advice. Sometimes there's people there that are trained. Sometimes you can get separate accommodation for exams, all that kind of stuff. So it can be really beneficial to tell people. On the other hand, if you decide not to tell anybody, it's perfectly normal and perfectly fine if you decide to do that. You can decide to be, okay, I'm this person and I have anxiety or depression or whatever I have, and I'm going to go in and nobody's going to know me, so I can just be this person and try and blossom without having to tell people, and that can be just as beneficial as telling people. So don't, just have a little thought about what you want to do and go with that. So the last thing I want to talk about is the night before. This is going to be stressful. This is going to be really stressful. It could be a night of no sleep, it could be a night of no eating, of lots of eating, of all these things, but remember, it's going to last 12 hours at the most. It's going to last not long, it's just something you've got to get through. Some things to make it a little bit easier is, one, if you lay your clothes out the night before, if you know exactly what you're going to wear, down to the pants and the bra and everything, it's all laid out, there's something in the morning you don't have to worry about. If you also pack your bag the night before, put all your nice little pretty jotters into your nice new bag with all your pens and your Tipp-Ex and your sharpeners and everything you might need. Maybe a little snack you might want to pack in there the night before. Your lunch, I don't know. Anything you can think of. Water, very important. Anything you can think of to put in your bag to make your day a little bit less stressful is perfect. Just put it in the night before, something else you don't have to worry about in the morning. So that's your kind of morning setup. Don't worry about that. Another tip I'm going to say is have a good tea the night before. The next morning you might be too nervous to eat, so make sure that the night before you have something that's healthy and really, really filling and something that can probably give you a little bit of energy for the next day. Things that are quite stodgy I think would be quite good, so pastas, all that kind of stuff is going to be really great. And the last tip is to read. This book is honestly amazing. I know I've talked about this in other videos, but it is really amazing. I talked about it when Matt first got me and I said, oh yeah, this is what Matt got me, but I'm actually this much through now and it really helps you. Like, I read this before bed because bedtime can often be a very anxious time where I think, oh, I'm not feeling well, blah 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 blah. So just to read this and put your mind in a nice place is really great. It has so many tips and it's such a beautiful book. If you read this the night before you go to college, it'll calm your mind, it'll really help you sleep. It has a whole section here actually on sleeping, and it has a whole section on travel. It has everything you might want to know or you might want to hear about anxiety. And so this is definitely a must-have before you go to college or do anything that's anxious. So that's the end of the video here. I'm really glad you watched it to the end because I think it can really help you if you're an anxiety sufferer. I really hope that your first day of college and uni goes well. I know that it will. If you need to talk to anybody about your first day, if you're really nervous, just let me know and I can give you my email or something like that. I really, really am here to help anybody that needs help. And I hope you have a great first day and a great first week and that the course is great and you meet lovely people, and if not, it doesn't matter. Just carry on. You're strong enough to do this. And that's all. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!